Hello, this is SpySite, and we're here today to show you how to set up your hidden camera, the cam101127 or the cam101288 from SpySite.com. This is what your power supply is going to look like, and it is a fully functional power supply. If you need to use it to charge your phone, you can plug your cable right onto the USB port of it and connect the item to a power source, and that's how you'll be able to use that particular function. The camera itself is located either on the front of the camera or on the side of the camera, depending on which model you have chosen. There is a slight button over here and an indicator light that will help you during the setup and whenever you need to reset the camera for any particular purpose. When you first plugged in the camera to the power source, you're going to see a red and a blue light light up. That is your indication that your camera is on and that the Wi-Fi network is being set up. Other things to keep in mind are that you are going to make sure that your memory card is inserted, which you can access by removing this port. You're going to insert your memory card here and just use it as a, just push it in with your finger or a paper clip as it is spring loaded. Once the card is inserted, replace the cover, and now your camera is ready to be set up. Take notice of this QR code that you'll see on the back of your camera. We're going to need that for setup, and that will make things a lot easier along the way. Now let's take a look at the phone setup. Now that we have our camera set up, the camera is going to be emitting a signal. The signal is going to match this number that you see in the back of the camera. These numbers are individual to every camera, so no two cameras are going to have the same network. That allows you to create a security layer for your particular camera that no one else will have. Now let's take a look how this looks on the phone. Today we're going to be doing the setup on an iPhone. So once my camera is plugged in and emitting the signal, which takes about 2 to 5 minutes, we're going to have our phone and we're going to go into the App Store. We're going to search for Pro iCam, and we're going to download this particular application. In this case, I have already downloaded it, so I can go ahead and open it when I'm ready, but that's not what I'm going to do right now. So go ahead, download your application, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your device's settings. So we're going to click on Settings, and then we're going to go to the Wi-Fi settings. You're going to be looking for that network that is written on the back of your camera. In this case, it will be a CM or a YM network. I see it right here. I'm going to click on it. And then the device is going to connect to it. It might even give you an alert or some sort of message that it cannot access the internet. You can ignore that message as we're not currently accessing anything on the internet. We won't need that feature just yet. So once you see the check mark and we're connected to that network, we're going to go to that application that we downloaded right a few minutes ago. So here's the Pro iCam application. Click on it. And in my case, we have a lot of other cameras set up. To set up your very first camera or your second or third or 100th camera, all you're going to do is just go to this plus sign on the top of the screen. Click on Add New Online Camera. And you have two options here. You can either search LAN or use the QR scan. If you choose to search LAN, you'll just click on it and your camera will show up there. You can click on it and add it that way, or if you decide to choose the QR scan, the device is going to use your phone camera to scan this code in the back, and just like so, the device has set up its networking configuration for you. And all you have to do is click OK. Once we've clicked OK, our device is shown down here as an online camera and it's ready for complete setup. So the wheel is now accessible on the phone. We're going to click on it and it's going to show you a menu with a few different options. Modify device allows you to change the name if you want to. So say, for example, you want to call it lamp camera or kitchen camera or living room or office one, whatever it is, you can do so by going in here and changing the name of the camera. You can also delete the device. So if you no longer need it or added it to the wrong device, you can just quickly delete it. If you're having connectivity issues, you can reconnect to the device from here, or if you want to access the full setup, just go to device settings. In device settings, you're going to see all these different options. These options will be updated, so the options that you see on your phone may vary from what you're seeing on my phone right now, simply because they're updated real time. And you're just basically going to go down each of these options and set up your preferences. I'm just going to go quickly through them, let you know what you can do at each of them, but the actual functions and how you set it up should be set up to meet your particular needs. The alarm configuration has to do with the motion sensitivity. So here's where we are going to select our motion. Most people will start at 4, but you can adjust the sensitivity to be higher or lower, or just completely turn off the motion sensor. We're going to go with that, and the next options are alerts. If you want to receive alerts, emails, tones, anything like that, you're going to set up here. And then these two over here are going to be push notifications and on-screen display notifications that will show up at the top of your phone whenever the application is running. If you don't want that, you just simply turn them off, or if you do want them, you can leave them on the way I have them here. Click OK to save your settings and go on to the next one. I recommend that you leave the Wi-Fi configuration for the end, as that process actually reboots the camera and takes extra time for you to wait. So let's skip that one and go right on to the other settings. SD card record configuration will allow you to set up your recording functions. These are the recordings that are going to be made onto the memory card. It does not affect any recordings that you do live on your phone or tablet. So as you can see here, you have several different recording options. You can turn off recording if you need privacy. You can record whenever there's motion, record all the time, or record in some sort of schedule. Select whichever one it is that you want to record and go down the different options. 1080p will be the highest resolution that this particular camera supports. You can select that, or if you want more time, you can downgrade the quality of the camera to get extra time. The file length is particular to how often the camera will save a file. In this case, the default is every 3 minutes, which means that the camera will save a file every 3 minutes and continue to do so unless the motion lasts for less than 3 minutes. You can also choose to record sound or turn off the sound if you do not want to, or if your particular state loads prevent you from recording sound with your camera. Finally, you can select the loop record, which means that if it's on, the camera will continue to record in a continuous loop, replacing the oldest files first as it reaches the end of the memory. Once we've done our selection, we're going to click OK. Next, there's other things to do. If your camera has infrared, you can set it up here. This particular camera doesn't, so we're going to skip that. And then the time setting is something that is going to have to, it pertains to the actual time and date stamp that appears on your video recordings. So the easiest way to do is just to double check if your time and date matches your current time and date. In this case, it doesn't. I'm going to go ahead and click Sync with App Time. And that updates our time and date to the correct time and date. I can click OK, and now my recordings will have the correct time and date regardless of any other settings that I change. If you want to receive email configurations, you can do so on the email config. If you have an FTP site from a third party, you can set that information on the FTP configuration. Miscellaneous settings. There's only really one particular feature here that's important for you to know, and that is the work LED. That has to do with the red light that shows on the camera. So if you want to turn it off, just click here, and then you can just turn it off. That way nobody will see that red light flashing on the side. You can also change your password and reboot the device if necessary right from your application. Now that you have done this, the camera is continuously recording. In this case, we set it up with motion, so the camera will be recording whenever there's motion in front of it and letting us know whenever there is any activity. Some other things to know here is this tab down here. So you have your live video, which allows you to see a live view of the camera. Just by clicking on it, you'll be able to see that. Now, to view the live camera, what we're going to do is make sure that your camera is online. When you're ready to view it, just click on the name of it, and your camera is going to come up like this. So as you can see, this is our live camera, and there is a few different ways that you can view it. You can view it like this, or you could also tilt your phone to change the perspective of your camera. One of the things that you can do is click right on the middle of your video, and this new menu will appear. The menu will vary based on the different options that your camera supports. For this particular camera, we have the option to change the brightness. So if we needed to adjust for brightness in our particular room, we can do this. Change the contrast. Turn the night vision on and off. In this case, it turns it to black and white. But it's daytime, so we get a lot of whitewash, so we're going to turn it off for now. And then this last little icon here is what's going to turn off the blue light on your camera. So if you do not want any blinking lights on your camera, make sure that you turn this icon off, as well as the flicker LED light or working light under the miscellaneous settings of the setup. You can also change the quality that you're viewing at. So right now we're viewing at 1080p, okay? But if we were in an area that has very poor network connectivity, we might want to switch that quality to a lower one, say 720 or even 640. What that will do is it will allow us to process video a lot faster so that it can support a slower network. Your camera might experience some changes in its quality. However, this doesn't affect any of the settings that you have set up for local recording. It is only affecting the way that you're viewing it and any recordings that you make with your device while watching live. So go ahead and make any changes that you need to have the best connectivity to your camera. The icons down here are pretty self-explanatory, but basically this one over here allows you to listen in. So if you wanted to listen live while away, you just make sure that that one is on, and then you can listen. This one over here is only applicable for cameras that have a two-way talk. So if your camera supports a two-way talk, you can make sure that that one is on, which will be without the red circle on it, and then you can speak through the camera. This icon here allows you to take a snapshot. Those snapshots are saved right onto the application and accessible on your phone. And then you can also video record anything that you're viewing live in addition to the recordings that your camera makes on the memory card. To stop your recording, simply press the icon again, and now it has saved that file. Now let's say, for example, you have to plug this camera on an outlet where the camera ends up being upside down or sideways. You can adjust that and get the video to show the correct way by changing the perspective of the camera using these arrows. As you can see, turns it upside down or upside down, left and right, so that you can get the correct vision of whatever it is that your camera needs to see based on your specific conditions of how you have to install it. To get back to the previous menu, simply go on the back icon, and that brings you back to this menu where you can access your camera, your settings, your snapshots, recordings, and alarms. So if we wanted to see some of the snapshots that we just took, we would just go into snapshots, and there's the snapshot that we just recently took. Once you have files that are on your phone, what you could do is you could download these files right onto your phone, or you could use iTunes to actually see these files live or save them for later retrieval as well. And that is basically all there is to the live menu. You'll also have your snapshots, which allow you to take snapshots of anything that has motion. So say, for example, you went ahead and viewed the live version and you decided you needed a picture of whatever was being seen on your screen. That's where your snapshots are going to be saved. It might look something like this. You can also access your recordings. Now, the recordings can be either on your personal device or on the memory card. You can access both of these things remotely from anywhere you are, as long as the camera has been set up on Wi-Fi. As you can see, this is one of those remote notifications that detects that the camera has motion in front of it. Finally, the alarms. This is something that it will take all the time while recording and when in motion. You don't have to do anything to take these still shots. The camera will just take them for you as an alternative and additional form of evidence for anything that the camera sees whenever motion activation is enabled. Now let's go back to the one setting that we didn't do before, which is your Wi-Fi configuration. Without that step, you will lose connectivity to the camera when you walk away too far from it. The camera will still record, but you won't be able to listen to or view it live. So if you want to be able to do that, we're going to go back to our device settings. All you have to do is go to Wi-Fi configuration, and from this menu, you will select your home or office network. You're going to select whichever one it is, so I'm going to select this one for demonstration purposes. It will ask you for a password. This password is going to be the password to your Wi-Fi network. Make sure that you enter any uppercase characters or any lowercase precisely as your password indicates, otherwise it will not connect. Another important thing to know is that the camera is compatible with only 2.4 gigahertz networks. Do not use a 5G network as it will not work properly. You also need proper encryption. If your network is unsecured, you might have issues connecting to the camera or getting it to stay connected to your network. So please check your connectivity and your encryption settings if you have any trouble with your Wi-Fi connectivity. Once you've entered your password, you would click OK. Well, in this case, we don't have any password set up. But what the camera will do is it will ask you to reboot. You're going to say OK. At that point, the camera will shut itself down and continue the setup on its own. Do not unplug the camera and do not change anything on the camera until the camera comes back on its own. That process will take approximately 2 to 5 minutes to complete, and once it's complete, you will see that your camera will become online once again without you having to do anything. At that point, you're all set. You can leave the house or the office and access your camera and your recordings from wherever you are, whenever you want to. If you need to change any settings in the future, you can just do them right from wherever you are by going here and going to device settings, and on the go you can update or change or edit any of the features that you have selected. Other than that, there's really nothing else for you to do. Your camera is complete. You can go on to selecting a different camera for setup, or if that is the only camera that you have, you are all set and you are done with that particular setup. Now, thanks again. This is Diana from SpySite, and if you have any questions, be sure to check our website at www.spysite.com, or you can call us at 845-371-0000. We also have store locations in New York and New Jersey, so if you prefer to have a face-to-face conversation and a hands-on training session, we'll be happy to do so. Once again, our contact information is 845-371-0000. Reach us on the web at www.spysite.com or come to one of our stores. Thank you.